What I realized is the only issue with outreach is that it's limited. You can only do so much per day, right? So even if you're sending 25 messages every single hour, all day, every day, you're limited by how many messages you can send out. So the only way around that is to start running real ads, which is why most companies do. So they could start messaging me. They could start clicking on my stuff. And that took me to the next level, because then what I was able to do is spend 25 grand a month and get $100,000 in revenue, spend $50,000 a month, get $100,000 in revenue, 75,000, like, et cetera, right? Now, once I had that process down, my lead gen and my sales and my marketing were all in play. Now I had to do fulfillment. So to start fulfillment, the funny part is that my fulfillment was terrible. And I say that because it's okay when you're starting a business, you're learning. Like, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to look stupid. Just like go in there and have fun. And you'll look back when you're older and you'll just laugh. Now, what I did at first is I had an Excel spreadsheet. And so the Excel spreadsheet would have their calories, macros, the foods they would eat. And then on that sheet, it would also have their exercise. So it was pretty terrible. Like, if you've seen an Excel spreadsheet, it was pretty terrible. What I said is I said, hey, I'm moving you into a new app I made. And in the meantime, I'm gonna make this Excel spreadsheet. And then what I did is I moved them into Trainerize, which at the time is what I used for my fitness fulfillment. Now, I now use My Coach AI, but at the time I used Trainerize, and Trainerize had sets, reps, workouts, videos attached. I could also use something called Evolution Nutrition, which attached to it, which would have their meal plans, their calories, etc. And that's how I did my fulfillment. And then I would check on them every other day. I'd send them a text in the morning. So I get up and I grab my phone, I'd send all my clients a text. I'd wait for them to respond. Everyone would respond usually by noon. And then I'd send them another text, and then by that time it was good. And then I'd respond one more time and the day was done, right? I didn't want to be in a situation where I was like texting one client and then waiting for another client. So maybe I could have done that job better, but that's how I did the fulfillment. From there, I started hiring people and putting them in positions that I didn't want to do anymore, so I could start to get some of my time back. Because as you build a business, you're trying to build wealth, but it takes a lot of your time. Then as you start to make money, you want to pay people to fill in some of those spots that take your time. So I started hiring a VA that would start the messages for me. That gave me hours back a day. Then I hired someone who do the fulfillment for me, right? They were a coach. They get paid per client. That gave me hours back per day. Then I eventually hired a sales rep. That was later down the road, but the first few hires were people who were VAs who did the outreach for me. And then it was a coach, and that gave me hours back a day to create content, go to the gym, you know, whatever I wanted to do. And then that is how I scaled. And really past 100,000 a month, it's all the same. Like, you can get to $100,000 a month business, guys, and you can have 2 VAs. You can have 1 coach. Like, you can have 4 people on your team max. And that's actually some of the best businesses, because like you might make, you know, 1.2 million a year, but you could take home 800, 900,000. And so just keep in mind, it all comes down to profit at the end of the day.